The Asylum on Blackthorn Hill, Part 2. Ethan couldn't shake the asylum's pull. The nightmares came every night since his escape. Those hollow, oil-slick eyes boring into his soul. The rasping whisper of, "You'll come back," echoing in his skull. His lost camera, a cheap thing but loaded with photos of that night, gnawed at him. It wasn't just the proof he needed. It was the closure, a way to silence the dread that clung like damp rot. Against every instinct, he returned to Blackthorn Asylum on a frigid, fog-choked evening, the sky bruised purple and heavy with the threat of a storm. His flashlight trembled in his gloved hand, its beam slicing through the mist as he slipped through the same rusted gap in the fence. The courtyard was worse than he remembered. Weeds twisted like skeletal fingers, clawing at his boots. Shattered glass glittered under the faint glow of a crescent moon, and the asylum's silhouette loomed larger, its broken windows like empty eye sockets watching his approach. The air was thick with decay, mildew, rust, and something acrid like burnt hair. Ethan's breath hitched as he reached the entrance, the doors now sagging further, their hinges groaning as if in pain. He stepped inside, and the darkness swallowed him whole. The hallway was a tomb. Peeling paint hung in strips, revealing cracked plaster veined with black mold. Rusted gurneys lay scattered like corpses, their wheels frozen in decay. Ethan's flashlight caught glints of something wet on the floor, dark, viscous pools that shimmered unnaturally. His stomach churned, but he pressed on, retracing his steps toward the patient wards where he'd lost the camera. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the distant drip of water and the faint creak of the building settling. Or was it settling? A low, guttural hum vibrated through the walls, like a heartbeat pulsing in the asylum's bones. In the East Wing, the patient wards were a nightmare frozen in time. Iron bed frames, warped and rusted, stood in rows, some draped with tattered restraints that swayed as if touched by an unseen hand. The scratched words, "He sees you," still marred the wall, but now they were deeper, jagged, as if clawed by something furious. Ethan's flashlight flickered, its beam stuttering as the temperature plummeted. His breath clouded in front of him, each exhale a fleeting ghost. He scanned the room, heart hammering, and spotted it. His camera, half buried in a pile of debris near a collapsed bed frame. Relief surged, but it was short-lived. A wet, dragging sound slithered from the hallway. Ethan froze, his pulse a deafening drumbeat. The hum grew louder, now a chorus of whispers, overlapping, unintelligible, clawing at his mind. His flashlight died completely, plunging him into darkness. Then a sickly yellow glow bloomed at the far end of the ward, revealing it, the figure. Taller than before, its limbs unnaturally elongated, joints bending at wrong angles, it moved in jerky, spider-like lurches. Its face was a grotesque mask, eyes like twin voids, leaking a tar-like substance that dripped to the floor, and a mouth stretched wide, filled with needle-sharp teeth that glistened with something black and oily. "You came back," it rasped, its voice a chorus of 1,000 screams compressed into a single sound. Ethan bolted, camera forgotten, his boots slipping on the slick floor. The figure didn't run. It glided, its movements defying physics, appearing in one doorway, then another, always closer. The asylum seemed alive, doors slamming shut as he passed, walls groaning as if squeezing inward. He stumbled into a stairwell, descending into the basement, the air growing colder, heavier, laced with a stench like rotting flesh. Chains hung from the ceiling, swaying violently now, their clinks mimicking the figure's guttural chuckle. In the basement, the walls wet with condensation, the floor slick with puddles that reflected the faint, unnatural glow trailing him. Ethan's flashlight sputtered back to life, revealing a labyrinth of rusted pipes and crumbling concrete. He spotted the narrow window he'd escaped through before, its jagged glass glinting like teeth. He sprinted toward it, heart in his throat, but the figure materialized ahead, its head tilted at an impossible angle, eyes boring into him. "Stay!" it hissed, its voice now inside his head, a blade scraping his thoughts. It raised a skeletal hand, clutching a shard of rusted metal, its edge dripping with that same black ooze. Ethan dove behind a boiler, its surface cold and slimy against his back. The figure's laughter filled the air, a cacophony of malice that made his ears bleed. He crawled toward the window, glass cutting into his palms, blood mixing with the filth on the floor. The figure lunged, its metal shards slicing through his jacket, grazing his ribs with a burning pain. Ethan screamed, kicking wildly, his foot connecting with something soft and wrong. A limb that felt like it gave too much, like it wasn't solid. The figure snarled, its face inches from his, breath reeking of decay and sulfur. Its eyes pulsed, and for a moment, Ethan saw things in them, flashes of tortured faces, writhing in agony, trapped in an endless void. With a final surge of adrenaline, Ethan threw himself at the window, glass shredding his arms as he forced his way through. The figure's fingers snagged his ankle, nails like knives digging into his flesh. He kicked again, feeling something snap under his boot, and tumbled into the courtyard, blood streaming down his arms. He staggered to his feet, the asylum's silhouette towering behind him, its windows now glowing with that same sickly yellow light. The figure pressed against the window, its face splitting into a grin that stretched beyond its skull, teeth glinting like daggers. "You're mine," it whispered, the words burrowing into his brain. Ethan ran, the fog swallowing his footsteps, but the ground beneath him felt wrong, soft like it was pulling him down. The fence was gone, replaced by an endless expanse of mist. His legs grew heavy, his vision blurring as the whispers grew louder, now a deafening roar. He collapsed, chest heaving, and the figure loomed above him, its form dissolving into a writhing mass of shadows. Its hands, now countless, clawed at his body, tearing through skin and bone with surgical precision. Ethan's screams choked off as the shadows poured into his mouth, his eyes, his mind, drowning him in darkness. When the fog cleared, the courtyard was empty. No blood, no body, no trace of Ethan. The asylum stood silent, its windows dark once more, but the air hummed with a faint, satisfied chuckle. The camera lay inside, its lens cracked, capturing a final image, a pair of hollow eyes staring back, forever watching.